So we are live right now. Oh, it did start up. Look at that. All right, good morning, everybody. Oh, you want to play that? No, that's the intro music for the Useful Creator podcast. Or you have that on the Roadcaster?
Yeah, it's loaded up on the Roadcaster.
Oh, no wonder. The intro music for this one is different. Good morning, everyone. So we are live here today, just Ayinde and I, on this. What today is lovely Monday, as most trainees would know. But today, what we're going to do is going to have a short discussion, just have a conversation essentially. So, Ayinde, what do you have that you want to talk about today?
I want to ask you a few questions and have a conversation about retro tech lifestyle that seems to be coming back into the vernacular. Related to marketing, interesting topic. I'm wondering what you have to talk about today.
So today I want to talk a little bit about AI ads, yes or no, and that's because recently, like up to yesterday, there was a discussion, a very lively discussion about AI ads, and I want to show an example and talk a bit about it and see what you think.
Okay, let's get into it.
All right, great. So I, of course, the AC is on. Let's take that AC off. Maybe it's noisy, maybe it isn't. But so as I usually do, I'm chronically online browsing, looking at different things. And I always come across this interesting AI content. Most of the AI content is terrible, but sometimes you find some really great AI content. And because I'm always on the lookout for it, I kind of tune myself into what it is. So I saw an ad on Facebook. It's a local ad for a local company and a local product.
Right.
And I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I like it. I can tell it's AI, but I like it. So I kind of dismissed that. And later on, somebody, an agency owner on LinkedIn, shared the ad. And one of their comments was that they wish they had made this ad. So I jumped in the comments and I said something to the effect of, let me see what I said. I said something to the effect of, love this when I saw it, which is true because I saw it earlier on. I know it's AI. And I describe why it's AI. So let me share that ad with you all now so you all can see it. So it's this ad right here. I'll show it on stage. It is a.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You saw that ad for Blue Wash? for Blue Wash. So the ad, it depicts, for those who probably only hear the audio, the ad, it depicts something called stick fighting. And in stick fighting, two men, usually is guys, I don't think they're lady stick fighters. Two men are battling each other to win a match of stick fighting, literally fighting with sticks. And the things the sticks they hold are called boa. And so what this is depicting is that it's normally a very aggressive sport where you have to swing your stick and your goal is to basically bust the man head. That's your goal, right? And win, right? Which basically means
blood. Yeah,
draw blood.
Yeah.
That will ensure a win, draw blood. But in this ad, the opposite is happening. It's a subversion. Basically, two of the guys who are supposed to be fighting are now in somewhat of very close quarters, and one guy is holding on the other guy's shirt and has his face buried in it, as if the shirt was smelling really nice. And as you can imagine, this is an ad for it's laundry detergent for laundry detergent. And basically say how you end a fight is by using this laundry detergent.
Right.
Yeah. And so the implication is that it smells so good that you wouldn't want to fight anymore. That's the implication of the ad. But it's clearly AI. I can tell it's AI.
Is it all AI though? I know the background is AI. I know some of it. Let me tell you what kind of threw me off with this. The fact that the guy has two sticks.
Well, yes.
I'm not sure if he took the stick from the other guy. That's why he's holding two. But that strikes me as something AI will do.
Right. And you see the fact,
fully understanding the sport and the prompt not being 1,000% clear, but clear enough that it gave us something that we connect with. I think the reason it works is not so much because the AI was good. It works because the emotion is real.
Yeah. So you made two very, very, very good points there. Two extremely good points, which I think I agree with. The first point you made is that you can tell that it's AI because of the fact that the one of the combatants has both sticks. Now, it could be that the first combatant handed the other guy the stick in order to smell his shirt. But the fact that you have to ask that question makes it harder to believe. The fact that you have to rationalize why this is happening. It should be in one picture, because you know, art is it's a still art, it's not a video. Everything should make sense. And the fact that you have to ask that question makes it harder to believe and makes you suspect that it's AI. And because we know in the past that AI often misplaces objects, particularly in the hands of people. And so you get suspicious immediately because of the context. And we know what the real thing looks like. And that is a red flag in your brain, especially as somebody who's from Trinidad and Tobago. That's a red flag in your brain as to whether this is real or not. That's the first thing. And the second point you made was that the emotion is real. I think the expressions on this are really excellent. They're really, really very excellent. When you look at the ad, you can see that particularly the guy who's smelling the shirt, it looks very, very convincing. It's extremely convincing. And the other guy's looking down at him and he's also smiling. So they really, really got the emotions right in this. And that, I think that is the main thing that makes it work, because you really can't see anything else. It's just two people and they're having a moment over this good smelling clothes because of this particular product. Any other thoughts, Ayinde?
Yeah, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. The guy who is actually holding the two sticks or the two balls, would he be smiling or would he be surprised? And I'm just wondering if AI rendered it so perfectly in the first instance, it was too much of a bother to get a different version that says the guy holding the stick has to look surprised. I'm just wondering, just being the devil's, if I was wondering if I, as a photographer, if I was shooting this, if I would have gotten a version with him surprised.
Maybe
I would have avoided that because it would have been too hard with AI and easier to do it live.
Right. I hear you on that. And maybe as photographers, we would do several versions of it. Some with him smiling, some with him being surprised. And
Right.
what do you think that they prompted several different ones and then ended up with this one?
From my experience, that would usually be the case. Although, in looking at it, it also makes the case for composite images. So where some parts are done with AI, some parts are shot and is composited together in a way that you can't really tell what is what. I think that's where we have to kind of head towards, where images are, where the AI behind the image is less out front. And that
Right.
people don't even know or even care if it's AI or if it's shot live, but it's put together in such a way that it tells the story, it triggers the emotion, it communicates the issues. And then those are the things that will and have always been the things that work. The tools have always had their shining moment. Like you get a new tool, everybody does it the way everybody did drone photography for videography for a very long time. And then now it has to be part of the story. Otherwise, people kind of go, what is that extravagant for?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that distinctly when drones became commercially available. Like, I mean, before it was consumer, when people were able to afford drones. So I remember back in the days, just as some history, I would have paid roughly 28,000 TT dollars at the time, which was a lot of money, to hire a helicopter to do photography and video, which flew to Tobago and back, right? And then a few years later, then drones became a thing. Drones became a thing, and now you could pick up a drone for 199 US or whatever, less than 2,000 TT, and you could go learn to fly for yourself and get superior images.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say that at that time when drones became widely available, every single video had to start with a drone shot. Every single video was like some videos are just mainly drone shots, and then they would have some other things, and it became a crutch that people would rely on creatively. And then obviously at some point people got droned out, And and you refer to the emboss in Photoshop as a similar thing. Like when you got Photoshop and you could emboss things, everybody was doing this faux emboss on
Yeah.
every single piece of lettering in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think that because AI was new and people were figuring it out, everything was AI this, AI that, AI the other. But now I'm think what people are realizing is that in order for you to use AI properly, there has to be a creative mind behind it thinking up of these ideas, because the AI is not going to tell you to do this.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. The thing that immediately stood out to me was that it did tell a story. So I'm agreeing with you. In fact, my comment on LinkedIn when it was Dennis Ramdeen from Pepper who shared the image on LinkedIn. My comment was, I love this when I saw it. I know it's AI. The guy is holding two bois, which is what you said, Ayinde. But it's good. I think I made a mistake here. It's good news. It tells a story. It's good use is what I want to say, but it's good use. It tells a story is what I said. So all the things that you said is exactly what I said about it when I saw it.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting when technology comes along. We've been in marketing communications for a long time, and we both started as graphic artists. So we both started when you had to do that emboss feature that you mentioned. You had to do it manually, and you had to kind of put that together and do layers. And those of us who remember that will understand what it meant when the technology came and made it super easy. Now you know how to do it manually, but the technology makes it so easy for you. And then you realize people who never knew how to do it manually, they're now doing it all the time. So it's kind of a proliferation of this thing. But if you look at communication technologies over the years, 35 millimeter camera, digital cameras, certain tools in Photoshop. There are things in Photoshop that I used to do with calculations. I don't even know if there's a feature in Photoshop anymore where you actually had to do multiple layers, very complicated stuff at the time. Don't remember any of it now. And then some technology comes along and makes it super easy. And then you would find a lot of people rushing to use it, but
Mm-hmm.
eventually it would become less effective. And only those who, as you say, have the idea behind it, the concept, the ability to strategically put this as part of their overall marketing communications, those are the ones that will continue to make that thing successful.
Yeah, agreed. And I think this is a good example of that happening right now with AI ads. So to answer my question, AI ads, yes or no, I think inevitably there will be more and more and more AI ads or more AI content. What we're seeing right now is a proliferation of low grade or low hanging fruit content. Everybody's using it to try and generate some type of attention or try and generate money in the quickest way possible. And so the market is being flooded with low effort AI content. What
Right.
should and would happen, as it normally would happen, is that some people are going to get really good at using the tool, and then they're going to use it to do the things that matter. And I think at the core of that will be some humans' ability to think creatively, to think up ideas, to come up with context, because this particular ad can only really work in this context of Trinidad and Tobago, and more so around this type of year. The AI does not know all of these things and cannot take into account all of these things to make this thing work the way it does. And let me read some comments from.
It had to have someone behind the scenes. Well, not behind
Correct.
the scenes, but someone strategizing, telling the AI do this because they already had this idea that they're
Mhm.
shooting on.
Absolutely, 100%. Let me read some comments from the ad on Facebook. People really love the ad on Facebook. Let me read some comments. Somebody says, "LOL, I love love this," and they ask about who's the marketing agency in charge of the campaign. Somebody else said, "Yes, it was good, but it'll break the stick fight, my man. What are you doing?" All right. Somebody says Blue Wash and Bois, what's not to love? Wow, wow, 10, 10, 10 across the board. Somebody says this is hilarious. Somebody else said this is a proper ad. The ad was actually done by an agency called Flambeau Media, I think they called Flambeau Media. So I have to give them the credit for that. Is really nicely done. Well done. So yeah, so that's me on. Oh, I didn't have to do that. I could have just done this. That's me on my topic about AI. So to summarize, use AI, just use it well. It comes from the creative thought should come from your brain. And obviously, again, they would have prompted this and done work on it to make it look the way it does. So that's good on them. All right, Ayinde,
Yeah,
what do you
just
want to talk about
question.
now?
Well, let me just answer your question. AI ads or not AI ads? I think it's inevitable that AI will be part of day-to-day life going forward. I think what we thought was going to happen is not going to happen with a massive takeover of AI. By the way, I was watching Matrix last night.
The original Matrix?
The original Matrix. Still one
Oh,
of the
okay.
best shows movies they've ever made. So I was looking at the Matrix and I was like, we made this movie about AI getting sentient and deciding we didn't need to exist, and people still continued years after, because I think that movie came out when
99.
99, right?
Yeah.
And we're still pushing for the development of AI. But what some of the data has been showing, because I was looking at a documentary on the proliferation of AI, and particularly on the investability of AI companies. So they're tracking the data in terms of usage, because they're tying usage to potential revenue in the future and comparing it to the actual valuations now. So a lot of these companies like OpenAI, they have billion-dollar valuations based
Yeah.
on a promise that people are going to come and use these things and actually pay for subscriptions to use these tools. And one of the statistics that stood out to me is Sora, in particular, the Sora tool, once it was launched, the sign up rate was very, very high. So there was a big spike in the sign up for Sora. And then within months, it flatlined to almost zero. And that curve is similar to a lot of technology curves that you would see, where it's a new thing, people just kind of get the kicks off of it. They do all kinds of different funny videos, maybe do videos to send to their friends, and then the novelty wears off and they end their subscriptions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the couple of people who remain, who actually know how to take this powerful tool and tell a story, or take this powerful tool and make their jobs easier or faster, those are the ones that continue using it, but certainly not in the numbers that would require $1 billion or $1 trillion valuation. Don't take this as investment advice. But yeah, so the reality is that, like most technology, you're going to have that spike of usage. Is going to become boring for the people using it, but it's also going to become boring for the people consuming the ads, and the ads will become less effective. And then you will move into a period where you have more strategic use of the AI
Yeah.
and falling back on strategy, basically. Strategy will never die, regardless of what tools people come with. So I think what we have to do as marketing communicators is really figure out how we can use AI in different parts of our businesses to communicate better, but also to make our strategy more responsive, quicker, stronger. But we can't step away from the fact that we need to have strategy and just say, "Oh, let's AI it to death." That's not
Yeah.
gonna.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of the agencies who rise up because of a change in marketing trends eventually is always a battle, and eventually those ones who are doing the least will die off. And the ones that tend to survive are the ones who think they're highly creative and they tend to think strategically about things. And I can see many people who have invested a lot of energy, time, resources into figuring out AI, but have kind of come to a block. They've come to a stop because they thought the tool will save them, but it's not just the tool. It's about the strategic thinking behind it, the systems, the creativity behind it. And that is how you're going to get to maximize this moving forward, because it makes no sense paying for 3, 4, 5 AI subscriptions and then you really are not doing things in order to generate the revenue to cover those things or even make more revenue for your business. That doesn't make any sense. All right, so let's move on to what you want to talk about.
Right. Just something that has been on my mind since the beginning of the year. I just thought it would be an interesting topic. Not 100% marketing communication, but is relevant in a certain way. And that is the whole idea of, and I'm asking the question, whether retro is the new modern. And I'll kind of give my thoughts on why I'm thinking about that. So
Mhm.
I'm actually actively in the process of digitizing some mini DV tapes.
Oh, that's
For a
that's
client.
that's how you sent me that image.
Yeah, that's how I saw that. So the client gave me like 7 tapes, 2 mini DV, and 5 hi8. Now we're just lucky enough to have a hi8 player, but luckily the client also had a, a video cassette player. So this guy would have gone to, I don't know, maybe 30, 50 weddings over his life, and he recorded everybody's wedding. And so he wants these things digitized. But so I'm actively inside of that space working with RetroTech to get somebody something that could work a little bit easier in today's world.
Mhm.
Because he certainly can't share it because not everybody will have a player. Well, most people won't have a player. So he wants to share it with the couples and the family and so on. The other thing that was kind of on my mind is my daughter. My daughter's 13 years old and she's like super retro with some of the things that she's interested in. So her music is retro. I'm talking like 70s, 80s. That's what she likes. She likes CDs. She actually wanted a CD player. She got a CD player. She got an actual retro CD player.
Wait, hold on. You do realize that by saying 70s and 80s is retro, we're putting ourselves in a particular category, right? So,
Oh yeah, we certainly retro.
yeah. Well, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, 70s and 80s. Yeah, that's the kind of music she likes. So she's into these CD players and stuff. And I've been looking at a number of things online. So one of the things that come to mind is the Clicks mobile communicator. So this guy, I don't know if you've ever looked at Mr. Mobile on YouTube, Michael Fisher.
Nope.
He does tech news, very interesting channel. You can check it out. He started a company with a couple of partners a few years ago doing keyboards, cases for iPhones and Android phones.
Oh, okay.
And this year at what's the tech conference? They always have a
SEMA, not SEMA. Well, I'm saying SEMA. That's the car conference. Um, C C CET CET C. You're gonna look it up.
I'm going to
Yeah, C something. Consumer electronics.
CES.
CES. I think
Yeah.
the
So
one.
at CES,
Right.
they launched a new device, a new, you could say it's a new category of device, which basically is a BlackBerry. And it's very interesting that people want
Oh,
back to that era with Blackberries. And I've seen a number of things coming on stream. Dumb phones are becoming very popular. What we call dumb phones, but feature phones. Nokia used to call them feature phones, meaning they're not smartphones. They just have limited features.
hmm.
Those are becoming more popular. Even new phones that are coming on the market that have no unlimited tech. Yeah, phones that don't really run Android. And we're going into this world where retro is becoming very interesting from a design perspective, but also from a practical perspective. Like it seems as though people are hungering for something more
Yeah.
tactile. And even did you see the design of the new Ferrari interior from Johnny Ives and Mark Newsom?
No, I haven't.
It's very tactile. They put a bunch of buttons. You know, a lot of the EV cars coming out now is screens, touch, touch, touch.
Which is terrible, by the way.
Right. But they have decided, well, Johnny Ive and Mark Newsom, and we know they they are famous for working on Apple tech. Johnny Ive was the architect of the redesign of Apple from since the 90s, coming right up to his resignation earlier this decade. So they worked on it, and there are a bunch of buttons in it. It's a very tactile design, very practical, very human. I think that has always been part of Johnny Ive's design philosophy. Like, how do we make sure this thing is human? they held on to the small iPhones for so long because they felt that people's hands were a certain size and their thumbs needed to touch the top and the bottom of the phone in order
Right.
to. So he's always been very human in his designs. And so the question to you is retro the new modern?
I don't know if retro is the new modern, but I could say that. Oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the quote. I was listening to a podcast yesterday. Basically, the quote is that things don't history doesn't repeat itself. It not revises, it revisits, it does something else. So you'd find that because we're flooded with so many things that eventually end up feeling the same, people eventually want something different. So I remember when digital music became a big thing. So we went from cassettes, so you know, 8-track records, cassettes, and then we had CDs after that, and then CDs for physical thing. Then we went to downloads, MP3s, and now everything is streaming. Now you don't own anything, right? But the problem with that is that in order for you to access the thing that you like, you have to now go and sign up for this service and hope that it works. You need to have internet, you need to have this infrastructure, you need to be logged in, as opposed to snatching a CD off your shelf and putting it in a player that you bought 5 years ago and a CD that you bought 6 years ago and having it play. Right. And I remember when there was a certain time when vinyl came back and people began to collect these original records, and they still do it to this day. And now they are making new vinyl machines and they're making new record players. And so people they said that the sound is warm, and they start to describe it in a way that is not bad, but is good, like the imperfections are making it good. And I remember that feeling because my father was a DJ and he used to have records and he used to put it on. And, you know, I scratched lots of his records, I'm sure. But I know how to place the needle and know the feeling of it and all those different things. But anyway, I'm saying all that to say that I don't think the question is if new is becoming. What's the question again? This remind me.
If retro is the new modern.
All right, if retro is the new modern, I don't think that's the case. I think we are in a cycle of people being flooded with a lot of things that are the same. And so in order to get something different, what people are doing is going back to things that may be familiar, and some of the things may be new to some people. And that is what's happening, in my opinion, at least what I'm observing.
Yeah, it's interesting. So one of the thoughts I had, why are people gravitating back to some of these things? So you talked about vinyl, and vinyl is actually one of the most profitable forms of media, not revenue-wise, profit-wise. Because people are back into buying vinyl. Vinyl are coming in colors now. You have special orders. One of the biggest factories in the world in Czechoslovakia just ramped up production. You have a few small presses in the US starting back up. And I'm asking myself, why do people want these things? And why do people want cassettes? Yesterday, I saw someone who offers a very interesting service. I think he might be hit with a cease and desist soon. But basically, you can take the link from a Spotify playlist, send it to him, and he would do a mixtape.
A mixtape, as in like an actual physical tape?
An actual physical tape. Yes. What was the brand? TDK? Like
TDK, yeah.
Yeah, so he would do that. He would print liner notes with lyrics that he got from Spotify, and he will mail this to you for a price. And I'm saying,
that's so cool.
And even as part of that, he says, even if you give it as a gift and the person doesn't have a cassette player, they can scan the QR code and go back to the Spotify playlist and listen to the music. But people want these things, and one of the thoughts I'm having is it's hard to have a relationship with a stream. And a lot of times, media and tech is consumed in a way where you handle it, you hold it as part of your life. You tell the people. So I've been to people's houses where their CD collections numbered in the thousands. And people
Right.
have, and they can pick out, okay, this album, and they pull out an album and they can play the song, and they have this kind of tactile, emotional attachment to the thing that they own, which you can't have with streams. The minute you stop
Right.
paying $9.99 or $9.95 for the month, that's it, all access to music gone. So while the
Exactly.
technology is good and the ability to play music anywhere from any artist, almost any artist, is a good thing, you still find that people are now saying, well, we know we want real, we want authentic, we want to be able to hold things, we want to be able to pass things down to our children. We want to be able to not depend on the algorithm for our enjoyment. We could think for ourselves. And I think some of that is going on in a big way. Yeah, people want to own stuff again. We're living in the age where you own nothing. You subscribe to Photoshop, you subscribe to Spotify, um, and you just pay your bills every month, and you rent, lease, however you want to determine, and the language surrounding it, but you don't own stuff anymore. And I think part of this whole let's go back to retro is part of people saying we want to have relationship with the things that we buy and purchase, but we also want to own the stuff that we buy and purchase.
I hadn't thought about it in terms of relationship at all, but I could see that whole feeling of wanting to like have a thing, and I guess it's psychologically. So there's this principle in I want to say brain science, but this psychological principle of being able to it's not ownership. What is called? It's called having of people want to have agency. Basically, that's what it is. So there's a psychological principle of people wanting to have agency. And Jamila is saying, I could actually, can I show her comment? I can show her comment. Jamila is saying, that is why I will never subscribe to iTunes or any other platform. I will buy a CD or I will play it on YouTube. Okay, that's one perspective on it. Yeah. And yeah, so people want to have agency. And if you try to take agency away from people, they will rebel. So if you offer something to somebody and you make it so that even if they have the illusion of choice, they will ultimately end up choosing anything you may want them to choose. But you have to give them the option. It's interesting as I kind of throw back to what you said you was watching the Matrix, the original Matrix from 1999 last night. And that was the same problem the architect had, where when he he made it so that everything was good, the human brain couldn't absorb it. Basically, he had to make it so that things could be sometimes good and sometimes bad, and then people accepted the programming.
Yeah.
But it basically is a way of, if somebody takes away your agency, you tend to rebel. And what the systems are doing now, subscriptions, and what the current systems for these type of things are doing is that basically they're saying that you can't own anything unless you pay me. You're not going to get access. And so something that was previously yours to own is not yours. So you don't have it. You can't use it when you want. You can't wake up in the middle of the night and just decide I want to put my records on or my CD on and play it. You have to go on now. If you canceled it last month, you have to go and subscribe now to get it. And I just think that is part of the human mind that is rebelling against some of these things. So
Yeah.
What
retro media can you say you own that is in your house right now? What piece of content that you thought you should buy? First of all, you were connected enough with it, it was good enough that you thought you should buy it, and not only that, you still have it.
What piece of content in particular?
Like a movie, a record.
I have. It's so funny enough you should mention that. I have a video I was looking at. I was going through some of my old videos the other day, and I have a video of my kids. Hey Fadil, how are you doing? Just acknowledging that I see you. I'm good. So I have a video of me in the car. This is when the kids were still in car seats and they were in the back seat, right? And the video is me. I wish I could. I was trying to look for it just now. It's basically of this is a Lionel Richie CD,
Right.
and I think it's playing is back to back. I think is the name of that CD, and I think they're playing Penny Lover. For those who know, if you know, you know about Penny Lover, Lionel Richie, right? And the CD is playing in the car, so I pan from the CD on the seat, and I pan to the back seat, and both of the kids are sound asleep in the back seat to the songs of Lionel Richie. And so I have this Lionel Richie CD that I've had for a long time. And I'm just thinking, oh, good, I should go and put this on in the car. So that's one thing that I have. And I have a few CDs well that
Right.
I would have purchased. And I just happen to have it. And so that's one of the set. And I can't remember when I got that, but it's been a number of years.
Right. Was what would that be close to your what's your most recent tactile purchase? Like
Most
legacy.
recent, that is retro.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say. I can't say my most recent tactile purchase would be. What did I purchase recently? Do headphones count? I don't know. I can't say. What about you? What do you have? I don't think I have any.
I think just like you and just like most people, nothing recently. I do have the full box set of Mad Men that used to show on AMC. Um,
Right.
if you know, you know, one of the best advertising shows they've ever created. So I have the box set of Mad Men. I probably have a couple other DVDs and maybe two Blu-ray movies. Um, I think I have Troy. There's certain movies you have to have.
Right.
I've
Right.
I have Troy. I have Brown Sugar with Lorenz Tate and Nia Long.
Yeah, we know this. We know those
Yeah.
days.
Yes. So those are some of the ones I have like. And music wise, I have some music from back when BMG was a stuff. I have Stillmatic, Illmatic. Illmatic is still the best hip hop album ever. I know I'm gonna cause some controversy, but that's
Yeah,
life.
exactly.
So why would I still have those things? I think like Mad Men was one of the best things they've ever done with advertising, serialized advertising in TV. The only series I think is better than Mad Men is Walter White, Breaking Bad.
Oh, Breaking Bad. Okay, in terms of
Perfect 5 season run. It needs nothing. You can't take away from it. But when shows like that hit you emotionally, it's possible. It's easy to want to go back to that feeling, and having to wait until it gets to your streaming platform might be
yeah,
difficult. But if you have the DVDs, you slot in the DVD and you take a look at it. At one point in time, I thought that is what Netflix would have become, like an archive of all the things that have ever been made. But of course, everybody wanted their piece, so they started holding back media from Netflix, and it didn't work out. In the ideal world, that's how it would be. Everybody would be good at what they do. Netflix would be the streaming company, and they would have everything, all the legacy media that you want. But of course, we don't live in a perfect world.
yeah, and again, it's all about the money. Anytime something happens funny, just follow the money, and it will tell you why things are going that way. That's good stuff. That's excellent stuff. All right, so what did we learn today?
You're asking me the question.
Asking the question because I want to drink some water. I want to drink while you answer. I want to drink some water. That's why.
Yeah, I think one of the things we would have learned is that relationships matter, and relationships sometimes go beyond your brand and go into how people experience your brand. And that
Yeah.
would mean physical, tactile, touch, things that they could remember, things that will touch them emotionally. So that's from the media that you deliver your stuff on, but also how you deliver that thing. So if you're authentic in using your AI to create ads, then it's going to touch people. People are going to have a relationship with that. That's going to be a positive touch point. But if you're sloppy with it and you're just using AI to do gratuitous graphics, people are also going to feel that, and that's going to hurt their relationship. That's one of the things I think we learned. So people are very much still emotional, relationship based human beings, despite the amount of technology and AI and chat and so on that we have. What else do you think we've learned today?
Yeah, and I think we learn also that the tools are are used to create something, but the actual creative comes from the person. So the tools can work when a good person is behind them using them. It's the same like any other tool. So the tool requires a skilled practitioner or skilled person behind it. And so when it comes to AI content, whether that be ads, whether that be creative, whether that be videos or copy, there has to be somebody behind it that is driving what it should become. And if you have that, then you're going to have the AI making it becomes less of an issue, because then now AI is being used as a tool to make something that is in somebody's head. So I often tell my kids, people often don't become good artists, and this is fine artists, is because they cannot translate what's in their head into a medium that people could see and touch. So the problem is not so much seeing it in your head. The first issue, if you're creative, is seeing it in your head. You can see this thing in your head. But the problem is translating that into something that you can touch. So the gap is between your head and your hands. That's the gap. And the more you practice, is the more you're able to take the thing that is in your head and translate it to your hands, so that both of those things match up. And how it matches up is by practice, is by finding a creative way to express that. You need tools to do that. If you are somebody who draws, you need paper and a pencil, you need paint, an easel and a brush and some paints if you're a painter. But in order for that to be translated well, what's in your head actually has to come out and get onto the paper. And that takes somebody who can see the thing. And if you can't see it, you can't make it. And so I think that that's what's going to happen. The people who cannot see and have been using the tool anyhow, eventually they will fall off. And the people who could actually see and get to learn to use the tools will be the ones who will do very well with them.
Yeah.
So that's it. All right, that's it. We've been on for about 40 minutes now, and I think it's time to wrap up. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us on It's Good to Relate. We're not sure if this is a podcast or talk show or whatever it is, but we thought it might be nice to jump on today. So see you all later. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.